Recording video.
Direct touch area. Use the rotor to enable direct touch for this app.
Hello, folks. Flying Jake. Said I'd be doing a follow-up video, and guess what?
Tap twice with one finger to stop recording.
Yeah, I know. Waiting to be served. I'm just waiting for it to cool down, but took it out of the oven a while ago. Yeah. Gonna eat some of this when it cools down enough. And then I'm gonna kick back and relax. Put that back on so it doesn't lose any moisture. But I want to talk to you guys about something because people ask me all the time, how do you, I do 99.9 of 9% of, what I can do. I mean, the things that, people do in their household, I do 99.9% of. There are some things that I need help with, but I'm pretty much independent. Cooking is one of them, and I'll tell you why. I had a great home ec teacher when I was a student at the Iowa Braille School, which is now defunct, in Vinton, Iowa. I'm going to call her Mrs. H. Mrs. H was blind, and she was they called it TDL, Techniques of Daily Living. It wasn't home ec, it was TDL. They called it at the Iowa Braille School, because there they had what they called the Transitional Living Unit, TLU, which is a big kitchen area. They had 2 sinks in one kitchen. They had a counter across from the other counter, so that and there was no real. There was a dividing medium, if you will, between the two sinks and counters, so that you each had your own little side. But it was open, and then there was one stove. I do believe, if I'm remembering right, one stove, 2 sinks, or maybe there were 2 stoves. I don't remember, but there were 2 sinks. There were 2 counters. But anyway, the TLU, taught independent living skills. You had your kitchen, you had your washer and dryer, you had everything that a home would have. And Mrs. H really drilled that into us. And cooking was one of those things. Now, to this day, I will not fry food because of the whole thing with grease. And I have witnessed a grease fire. My mother accidentally set our kitchen on fire when we lived in South Carolina. It was a grease fire. It wasn't as bad as it could have been because we lived next door to my sister's in-laws, and her father-in-law saw the flames shooting up between the wall and coming out of the fan vent. And so he went over there and he watered it, and sprayed it with the water hose and got all the flames out and everything. But yeah, grease is easy to catch fire. Grease is easy to pop and splatter, and also you can get really messed up on grease. My cousin got severely burned, and he spent a few months in a burn unit. And the stories he told me of that burn unit, just horrific. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But that's why I will not use grease. But I do a lot of baking. And plus, I think baking is a lot healthier for you. I bake roasts. I bake, I do chicken legs and cream of mushroom soup, all kinds of stuff. And I use the microwave oven, But back to what I was saying, Mrs. H told us when using the stove, this is scary for you. I know it is, but you're going to be fine. It is hot, but you're going to be fine. As long as you're slow, as long as you're cautious, you won't get hurt. And she gave us the tools to, and the skills we needed to learn how to do that. And I really thank Mrs. H from the bottom of my heart. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I use her advice not only in the kitchen, but in my daily life in general, no matter it be in here, when, walking downtown, even, I don't care if it's, plugging stuff into electrical outlets. That's never a bad thing to, keep in mind. Be slow, be cautious, you won't get hurt. Take the time to know your surroundings. Take the time to know where the dangers are. Take the time to know how to avoid them. Take the time to, move slowly and cautiously while you're doing things. That way you don't get hurt. Now, in June, of course, I had to screw up because, well, a while before then, back in May, I about got hit. I was coming out of Mom's Cafe, and I had the right-of-way. I was crossing the street, and this dude came just flying in there, and I had to jump back to the curb. It scared the heck out of the guy who was in the law firm. He saw it, and he came out and had a few choice words for that fella. But then in June, because I was so psyched out about almost getting hit, I didn't take Mrs. H's. I didn't follow that advice, and I crossed the street too fast, and I ended up hitting one of the concrete barriers around the planters with my left foot, coming down and pulling the muscles in my back, where my spine muscles tie into my hips. And I ended up in the hospital. That's why I have a video on YouTube back in June where I was being discharged from the hospital, but I kind of put on there a video about why you didn't see me for a while, because I was in the hospital for, I went in there Tuesday night and was discharged Thursday afternoon. So a little over a day and a half. But that's what happens when you're not slow and when you're not cautious. But basically, this is what I wanted to talk about, and I can't wait to eat that catfish and potatoes. I'm Flying Jake. I'm glad I could show you how I do some things around the kitchen. I'll be back with more YouTube content. Until then, take care and enjoy your upcoming week. There's going to be a lot happening in the fall, especially when Halloween comes around. There's going to be a costume contest at the water hole. They want me to wear my mop gear suit, so that's going to be cool. I'm going to do a YouTube video of that. So that's going to be quite interesting. I don't know if I'll be able to work the camera or not. I'll have somebody else. I'll just start recording, and then I'll have somebody else hold the camera, or else I'll try to fit it around my neck as best I can with my mop gear suit on. But the only thing is, you're going to have this big old mask on. I'll just have somebody else hold the camera, because of the phone, because it's just going to be so hard. But anyway, there's going to be a lot coming up. I plan on doing some more videos of the winter festivities here in Plattsmouth. They're going to have the winter scene going on downtown, and so that's going to be interesting. A lot coming up, but I'll have some more YouTube content for sure. And I'll be back again sometime soon. Until then, you all just take care. Hit that like and subscribe.